Well, hello there, and welcome to Mk.V plane analysis. It's been a long time since my last analysis, and it's due time for a new one on a plane that I promised to deliver a long time ago, the Tempest. This plane had some troubles. Well, I should have done this review maybe in 1.29, but back then the Tempest flight model wasn't complete and it actually suffered from a lot of issues. And well, two patches have gone by, the flight models have changed, and I'm not going to say that the plane is got its final flight model or that is perfect. That's not the point of this analysis. This is a portrayal of how the plane actually flies. When 1.31 was released, a new flight model for the Tempest was promised, but it wasn't delivered for until sometime later. As a result, the analysis of this plane was held back until now. And now I can give my impressions on this plane actually from much more the pure flight model than before. Before the plane was, I'm not going to say it was hopeless, but actually was really underwhelming. But right now, oh geez, what a plane. Really. This plane lives up to its legend and more. For me, this is the best Royal Air Force fighter that actually fought in the war. There were later versions. The Sea Fury for me was the best piston engine fighter of the UK ever, but this actually fought in the war, something that the Sea Fury didn't. And this is a marvel. This is a magnificent fighter. Be mindful of something. All the commentaries that you are going to hear, all the thoughts you are going to hear, is with a plane that's not fully unlocked. Actually, I got this in 2 games ago, and you are not going to see any gameplay of a plane with the wings repair included. That means that I don't have the engine. That means that I don't have the 150 octane fuels, and I don't have the engine injection, and I don't have the cover. I only had compressor, airframe, radiator, and fuselage repair, and with those, this plane is absolutely staggeringly good. Really, to a point that it's impressive. I mean, this plane is so good. First of all, what's this plane? This plane is was an evolution of the Typhoon. This was actually the plane that the Typhoon was supposed to be, but never was. If you look at both planes, you're also going to see a Typhoon late here. They look very similar. They look very close to each other, but they are actually very different. The engine is the same, the radiator is the same, but there are changes in the tail. But most of all, look at that massive wing in the Typhoon, and now look at it in the Tempest. It's much thinner. This actually is a laminar flow wing, acting on the same principle as the P-51 wing, and reduced drag a lot. And the problem with the Typhoon always was twofold: was first with roll rate, and second with drag. Roll rate wasn't all that solved in the Tempest. It rolled better than the Typhoon, but still wasn't a good roller. But drag with this new wing, it was hugely reduced, and as a result, the plane was able to keep speed much better, and to do better at high speeds, and to maneuver better at those speeds. The wing also changed. You can see the platform is different, and well, while the engine was the same, it was a little bit more powerful than in the Typhoons. The result was a fantastic fighter, and it is a fantastic fighter in War Thunder. This is not a turn fighter. One of the things people like a lot about the Typhoons is the fact that they can outturn some German fighters, and they do. They can, of course. This is not a turn fighter. The wing shape is different in drag, but it's a laminar flow wing. Laminar flow wings have a problem with lift generation. They do produce a lot less of drag at high speeds, but at the cost of a reduced lift coefficient, and as a result, they produce less lift than what you would expect for a given wing area. They also produce a little bit more problems with stalls and stuff, but well, given that most of you are going to fly this with mouse and keyboard, it's not going to be a huge issue. The resulting changes from the Typhoon to the Tempest take away that turning ability the Typhoon has. The Tempest still can outturn Focke-Wulf 90s, but that's not to say that the plane is a good turner, because it's not. Don't turn with this plane because you are going to die. Instead, it exchanges that turning ability the Typhoon had for a much better dive, a much better zoom, and better weapons. If you see here, the Typhoon has four 20mm Spandau Mark II cannons with 560 rounds per in total. The Tempest Mark V changes this for four 20mm Spandau Mark Vs with 800. Those are 200 rounds per gun, and that's a lot. Also, the cannon on itself was better. Was more reliable, jammed less, and shot at a higher rate of fire. So you are going to hit better with these weapons than with the Typhoon's weapons. The Mark II, you can see here, they have much longer barrels. They protrude from the wing. The Mark V basically what did was increasing the rate of fire and cut down those protruding barrels. As a result, the muzzle velocity is not as high, but the gun fired much faster. Also, it was lighter, so it allowed for more ammunition for each gun. As a result, these weapons are better. The Mark V is actually arguably one of the best 20mm cannons of the world. So you have four of those, and those rip things apart really quickly. This plane is a pure boom and summer. It's not an energy fighter in the sense of accelerating very well or climbing very well, even more so without the upgrades. As I repeat, I flew. All the games you are going to see is without wing repair, and you are missing tier 3 and 4 unlocks in this review. You don't need those, but with those, the boom and zoom ability of this plane goes over the roof. Even with those unlocks, the plane is a good climber, but it's not the best climber ever. It's a decent accelerator, but it's not the best accelerator ever. This plane is a boom and zoomer. You should fly this thing the same way you'd fly a P-51, a Focke-Wulf 90, a P-47. That means establishing superiority of energy and engaging when that's on your side. Energy means speed or altitude. Well, you should see, if you don't know what boom and zoom is, you should see more Fighter Combat School videos in the playlist I have in my channel. And it's a Terminator boom and zoomer. I mean, this is what, for me, right now, at the moment, this is the best piston engine boom and zoomer of the game. The P-51 and has, I think, is a better diver and zoomer, maybe because better aerodynamics. This radiator causes a lot of drag, and that's maybe a problem. But this plane has 420mm guns that really rip things apart. The 50 cals do the job, and they do it fine, but you need to hit near convergence. With these weapons you don't need to, and that's a huge thing, because this is one of those planes that really can guarantee you a one-pass kill, and that's I mean, that's so much worth in your weapons. The drawbacks of this plane, well, doesn't turn very well. It's not the best accelerator or climber. It actually doesn't have the best roll rate around. At high speeds is slow in roll rate. The historical plane also was, so nothing wrong there. But you really need to plan your approach and to plan your attacks, because in boom and zoom you need to be at very high speeds, and at very high speeds the roll rate suffers a lot. So you'll have to keep that in mind all the time. The plane doesn't roll very well. It's a much better roller than the Typhoon anyway, so it still is an improvement. This is a really astronomical diver. This is one of those planes that really dives extremely well. The limit of the airframe, the speed counter goes red at 820 kilometers indicated. and that's huge. That's very, 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 very high. At 820 kilometers per hour, you can actually pull out of a dive safely. The thing is that you are very near your problem. I have never ripped the wings of this plane, and believe me, I have put it in very, very steep dives. But of course, I'm very mindful of the speed, so that doesn't mean anything. I should try to see where the wings break, but think at around 840 kilometers per hour, 850 more or less. As I told you, the counter goes right at 820, so that's the speed limit you want to aim for and not go over it. And at those speeds, your rudder rate is really, really crippled, but still you have a lot of pitch and rudder authority. So really, this can guarantee very, very damaging passes at high speeds. And also, this plane is a very heavy plane. This was actually 6 tons heavy. That means that the plane keeps energy pretty well. Zooming away is a marvel in this thing. You outzoom probably, well, you outzoom most things in the game, but really, you outzoom everything the Germans or Japanese have that is not yet powered and is not a TA-152. It's a sublime aircraft, really. Very, very, very good. More things. Weapon options. You can mount, of course, the 4 cannons, which is the default. And with all the unlocks, you can see I could buy this, but I haven't. You can mount 200-pound bombs and rockets. Don't. First of all, there's no excuse here. This was a fighter. The Tempest was actually flown as a fighter bomber very few times. It's not as the Typhoon. The Typhoon was mainly a fighter bomber because it was lacking as a fighter. This was a supreme fighter and was flown as a fighter most of the time. Of course, you still can mount rockets and bombs, and that's useful for the end battle if there are very few enemies aloft, but at early game don't mount them. I always tell you this, but I insist, don't use them. The plane has a repair cost of 90,000 lions and is worth every penny of that. In arcade is much less, of course, is let me check 5,000 to repair, which is very cheap for a level 14. Level 14 means that you are going to face Doras, BF-109 G10s and K4s and the occasional TA-152. I have never seen a jet in a Tempest. And for a level 14, that's surprising. Most level 14 planes see a lot of jets. This doesn't, which is surprising, but it happens. One of the attributes of this plane, and probably the strongest point it has, is that it's exceedingly quick. It's very, very, very fast. With all the unlocks, simply nothing can catch it down low at sea level, other than a jet. Without unlocks, it's still very, very, very quick. I mean, very few things will catch you in a straight speed contest, and none of them is under level 14 for the Germans. The only thing that can catch you without the unlocks is a focal point editora. So use that. I mean, your plane is very, 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 very fast. So use dive to win speed, and then straight up to use that amazing top speed to keep your speed up. Remember, those top speeds are very good at low altitudes. This plane is not a high altitude interceptor. Over 5,000 meters, this plane loses quite a bit of its potential. You might want to go over that, of course, but remember that if you have to run away, you'll have to dive to maybe 2,000, 1,000 meters and just keep on going, because nothing will catch up with you. It's very, very, very hard for anything to follow a dive of a Tempest, and nothing will catch a long, protracted race down low with one. So yeah, that's it for the preview. Let's see some action and let's see this fantastic fighter in action. Let's start seeing a battle over Sizzling. A map you're going to see a lot, because with the British against the Germans is a pretty common map. You can see we have a lower BF-109 and Mk.V. We are at 5,700 meters more or less. Remember to climb out a lot in this plane at game beginning. You want to have altitude on your side, if possible, before meeting the enemy. Not always is the case, and this is one of the cases where you won't have, well, we don't have that altitude. We spot same altitude, BF-109. So, well, let's go for him. With this plane, what you have to have in mind all the time is patience and boom and zoom. Don't come into close fights, don't turn with the enemy, keep your plane in the vertical. It's pretty much the same lesson you'd learn in a P-51, for instance. But this is the first British plane that actually takes that by heart. So if you only are flying the British and you never flew boom and zoomer, this might be a challenging plane for you, because you really need to stay within the boom and zoom parameters. You really need to beat your time, keep the energy, and never become fixated with a single enemy, and just let go those that you can't kill in one pass. So, well, here we are in the dive. Look at how fast this plane builds up speed. I have to put the nose up before I actually can intercept that guy, because I'm coming so quickly. There you go, we have the enemy maneuvering there. Here you can see that the plane is in the best roller around at high speed, still better than a Typhoon. So here we go, some hits. No critical, no kill, but well, probably that guy has something black by now, because these weapons really hit really hard. So again, don't get stuck with one target. Look around, pick the most profitable one you can go for, and go for that. And don't stick in a fight with him. There you go, assist. I didn't insist in killing that guy. I only had to kill him, or let him go, because someone else would kill him. But aiming for my part, only a few hits on ME410. Those planes are tough, but even so, with these 20mm, they usually go down very fast. So, vertical move, got on him again. Let the speed increase in the dive and intercept him. Critical, on fire. He's pretty much done by now. So, yep, that's one kill. Up there's a focus on enemy, but he's dead, so no big trouble. Looking around, keeping situational awareness, and there is a PF-109. Level up, check around what's near us. Typhoon there, we have a Tempest on the other side. So let's win a little bit of speed before going for him. He's higher, but that's not such a big of a deal. Because even being higher, you can be faster. Right now probably we are in very similar energetical condition, because I'm probably faster than him. Checking around, always checking around for possible enemies. And of course keeping track on where the friends are, because you want to know where and how the friendlies are behaving when you go for a BF-109. The BF-109 is a supremely good one-on-one fighter if you are in a plane that's slower than it. Accelerates very well, climbs very well, really can make things difficult in a 1v1. But if you refuse to enter his game, if you refuse to stand in his turf, which is climbing all the time, he can be up there, but he will never win. Look at him, he's up there, he's not coming down, wisely so, because we have friends. Now we are closing in. But we are going to see that it's not going to be enough, we are slow enough. So we have a Spitfire, a Typhoon, a Tempest, and they are all going for him. And of course there's me, but I'm the lower one. So I'm just keeping track on him, in the case he tries to dive away, and to catch him when he does so. And of course I also want to keep track, look at that, the enemy still has a lot of fighters, so I'm going to keep track on them. while I play guard here. I'm not going aggressive. He's higher than me, he has average better than me, he climbs better than me. So unless he really messes up, I'm not going to catch with him easily. And we have 3 fighters going for him. By the way, sorry for that. Facebook and all that jazz. There you go, he's up there. I'm going to do a very steep climb to see if we can actually get some long range shots. No lag. No need to insist. He's just accelerating and climbing, and of course, for that, the WWII is the best thing. So we are not going to catch up anytime soon. But still, no big worries. He's up there alone, and we are 4. So he's pretty much fucked up. Anyway, if he dives, I will catch up with him. If he levels up, I will catch up with him. And if I don't, one of those guys will. If he keeps on climbing, we won't be catching anytime soon, but sooner or later he will be in our gun's range. So there's a lesson to learn here. Don't go impatient. Don't overdo things. Just play to your advantage, play to your strengths, and yeah. And here, let's see. We are 3, that's 1, there's a lower focus than any, so I don't need to be up here following the BF109. Because we have already 2 going for him, and yeah. So instead of insisting on going for that guy, I'll go for this one. BF1 focus 190, Adora. Get a good shot on him, and he's done. Easy peasy. Second kill. And now I use all the speed I built up in that dive to bring as much altitude as I can to my own. Check what's up still in the game.
The enemy is winning. We've got to counterattack.
Recognize it as always. And there you go. Finally the BF109 is playing the game we want it to play. He has iBed. Now he's a easy target for the Typhoon and the Tempest. So I'm going to move there and see if I can be of any help. But you'll see that I'm not diving and keeping my altitude, just in case that guy is able to somehow put some distance and start climbing again. I also see a P-47, which I have to tell you that P-47 was well flown. It was a pretty well flown plane. You'll see that in a second. And you see, I'm not diving for them. I'm just beating my time, looking around. There are more enemies, not just those 2. So yeah, just keeping track on them. There you go. The BF109 is dead. It was simply a matter of time. And now we see there's a Hensel 129. There are 2 actually. And I'm going to go for the P-47, mostly because if you have seen the text buffer, you'll see that they are asking me not to kill the DAX. And the DAX, of course, are the Hensel. And besides, the dangerous guy here is the P-47. I mean, he's a fighter. The others have very heavy weaponry, but still are very heavy planes and are not good at accelerating or climbing, so here I go. I think there you go, he's breaking away, and here I can follow. That's the weak spot of the Tempest. It doesn't roll very well. You can see as well our Typhoon has ripped his wings, so yeah, yay for him. Straight up the climb, and all I have to do is to be patient. Dive, fire, zoom, dive, fire, zoom. Sooner or later he's going to be out of energy and give me a good shot, and I'll be able to heal him. Now I'm coming. Again, bad roll rate is preventing me for putting a good shot on him. No big deal. I'll keep on going. Vertical reversal. The P-47 is a plane that doesn't climb very well, doesn't build energy very well. He's low and low. and all I have to do is to beat my time and to select the proper moment to go for him. Here you see he's very slow. Go again at it, and this time I could engine a little bit to give me a little more time to sell for a good pass. But again, very good evasive for him. He changes his plane of turning and tries to come back at me. But I'm not having anything of that, so I'll go back in the vertical. He'll try to catch me. You see that? He's coming vertical for me. But he's not catching up, because I'm much higher in energy. He actually put some shots on me, but not a big deal. The Tempest comes and backs him. And that's how you want to fly the Tempest 1-on-1. Secure the energy advantage and use the vertical. And yeah, that's going to be it for this game, because I actually, well, you'll see that in a second. The Hensels asked if they could land, and I went like, well, yeah, sure, okay, why not? While they were landing, I killed some ground targets, and that was this battle. So let's see the results. And the results are nothing to sneeze at. I mean, a couple kills, some ground targets, a lot of cash, and yeah, some good series of achievements. So let's see some other battle. This time we are going against the Japanese on New Guinea, a map that really puts the British at a disadvantage because the land based planes of the Japanese start up in the air. So we see there are a lot of A6Ms around. We have a Typhoon, a Spitfire, another Spitfire then there. Yeah, 3 Spitfires, a Typhoon and me. Versus an N1K up there and several Zeros. And there's also a bomber around, but yeah, that's not going to be a very big problem. In this one, you'll see that I'm very patient and don't commit myself into a battle until I know it's a battle I can win. You'll see it here that I'm looking at 2 different places because I'm wondering where my help is more needed. See, we have a Typhoon here, Spitfire, it's a 3v2, there's a 2v2 going up there, and there's a N1K. Still, I'm closer to this guy, so it's a thing about beating my time and going for the guys on the right, or trying to make a difference here and then moving there. So what I'm going to try to do is to dive on this guy, kill him, and then move on those guys towards my right. So I dive, and I miss very by a hair, but I do miss, and this arrow kills that Spitfire. So zooming away, and now I realize I don't have to turn back. There are more targets here. This is a 2v2. These guys, they are also a 2v2. They should have things under control, and I'm going to try to move here and help here. And now I spot another Zero which is coming for me. Avoid, and get out of the way. It's very easy to avoid Zeros. You can see the speed I am at. I am at 630 km per hour. The speed test I did to avoid him, I did at 550 km per hour. At that speed, the Zero is actually creaking and complaining he's about to be destroyed. If you have a Zero on your back, dive away and win speed. Now I'm noticing here that these guys on the behind me are actually winning. They have killed another Spitfire. But I have a Zero to deal with. I mean, that guy is the highest enemy and is the most dangerous one by far. Still, you can see I have an A6M3 there, and he seems to be giving me a good approach. So without losing track on what that other Zero was doing, I'm going to try to engage these guys. I have the advantage, I have the altitude. I only am worried about that other A6M5 which bounced at me, which I can't see anymore. Still, if I can see it, is that it's nowhere close. So I plan my attack. get on a proper approach, adjust for a lead shot from long range, and there you go, on fire, critical. That guy is not dead yet. It should be dead, but it's not dead yet. And actually that plane crashed later, and I didn't get a kill. But that plane I killed, basically, from a 700-meter deflection shot. So go figure, those weapons. Oh my gosh. So well, that plane is out of the fight. I'm not going to follow. I'm not going to deal the killing blow. I don't have to. We have much more urgent and pressing matters at hand, namely that other M6 A6M, that N1K. We really have to ensure that we win this, and that's not done by diving after a very damaged and crippled enemy. So I let that other guy go. I adjust for this one, cross, zoom. He does one of the trademark very close 0 turns, but he's not able to follow, of course, because in those turns you lose energy, while I have conserved mine. So I'm much higher than him, and I'm getting it ready for another bounce. Level up. Beat my time. Now is a good moment to roll downwards and to go for him. A little bit of flaps to help my plane turning, and retract them as soon as we are in the direction we want. A little bit of a look around, just in case. And this is one of those cases where you can really lose your patience when you shouldn't. I mean, the Zero is a plane that really can avoid most of your attacks simply by turning very close. But you don't have to follow. If you spot that you are not going to be able to win a shot, just forget about it, keep on going, zoom away. He's never going to catch up, so stay fast. Now I'm cutting a little bit of throttle because I have too much energy over that guy. You can see he's almost 2 kilometers below me. That's a huge energetic advantage, and in a plane that rolls so bad, it's not needed to have so much energy. So instead of going full throttle up until I can hammerhead, I cut my throttle and go for him before. And look at how this thing dives. It's incredible. And again, this is without wing, cover, and all those unlocks that enhance your aerodynamics. He's again giving me an impossible shot. I could try to aim for that guy, but that would cost me a lot of energy, and I don't want to lose energy when the enemy wants me to lose, or where the enemy wants me to lose that energy. If I go for a very low probability lead shot, what I'm going to do is to cripple my ability to do a follow-up. So instead, what I do is go past and come back. And again, he's going to break down again. This time I have a decent shot. I get some hits, maybe one hit at top. I haven't damaged him a lot, but still, that's a hit. So zooming away, pure vertical move, just waiting for him to come for me, because you know that's my stuff, that's where I feel comfortable, when they come for me. And they are left hanging on the prop, and then they can't maneuver. But no, it's not the case. The guy actually rectifies for being too slow. So I set up for another attack. And here, yeah, you can see that the roll rate really is an issue with the Tempest. Sometimes you really need to let the guy go I risked it. I did what I didn't before. I risked it for a very low probability shot, and that costed me a lot of energy. And you can see now that I can't go so steep in the vertical as I did before. Why not? Well, because I lost energy where the enemy wanted me to lose energy, in the cross. And now he can't get me, but we are in a much closer state. We are much closer to each other energetically speaking. He's flying very well. He's flying defensive very, very well. Avoiding when he has, and making me things difficult. But I'm not falling for that. I'm not going to be stuck in a close fight versus him. I'm going to boom on him. Now he gives me a front quarter shot. I take it. Miss. Not an easy shot, but still, why not taking it? He levels up behind me. And you can see now we are in a very close energetic position. But he's behind me. All I have to do is to level up and go away. And in due time, where enough separation is gained, I zoom, bring the altitude exactly to the same point, keep on zooming, and just plan when I want to come back for him, because he's already lower in energy. When he was behind me we were very close, but that simple dive and zoom has given me the energy. Now I spot a typhoon which is coming for him. He gets distracted, he goes for the typhoon, and I take this chance to do a reversal. In the horizontal, because I don't have enough speed to do in the vertical, I actually pull the nose a little bit down for gravity to assist my turn. Level off. He's going to give me a pretty solid front shot. There you go, and he's dead. He got a couple of hits on my wing, but nothing too worrisome. It was clear that he was turning. He did get some shots on me, but he didn't have a steady aim on me. So all I have to do was to compensate for his movement and shot him out of the sky. So there's one left, then one below. So down we go. And again, roll rate, trying to compensate for it, but nah, not worth it. He's straight behind us, so all we have to do is to zoom away, drag him up. He doesn't get stuck there because he knows there's a typhoon also on him. So we reverse on him, fall down on his movement. There you go. Adjust for the shot, and pilot kill. Well, pilot kill, plane fuming, I mean it's smoking, very fast kill. As you can see, these 20mm with two things happen. So yep, that's the battle. At one point we were down to 2v3 and we ended up winning. So let's see the results. Well, you've seen that the plane actually was a letdown back in 1.29 and 1.31 until the new flight model hit the street. Right now it's not a letdown. This is, for me, actually I'm surprised to say this because you know how much I love the Focke-Wulf 590 and I still think the TA152 still has an edge over this plane. It's not as fast down low, but has other attributes. But this is probably one of the best fighters in this game right now, if not the best. Piston engine, of course, for boom and zooming. But I'm all about boom and zoom. I mean, boom and zoom was the way to win in World War II, and this is one of the best boom and zoomers in the game. It has everything to do the job. It's fast. It's got an excellent dive and zoom. It's got the weapons. It's got the speed. It only lacks roll rate at high speeds, and that's probably the most and strongest weak point of this plane. It's not good at rolling, and at high speeds and in boom and zoom you want good rollers. But still, the other attributes are so good And remember, again, this is without all the unlocks that really compensated. For me, really, there's no contest. This is the best boom and summer in the British trajectory. This is the best fighter in the English trajectory. Piston engine, of course. And this is one of the 2 or 3 best planes in the game right now with a propeller on it. Again, of course. So yeah, I love it. I love it. I have a lot of fun with this plane. The only thing I don't like with the Tempest is that you are fielded with Spitfire 9s all the time, and Spitfire 9s really, you know what I think about them and the option of the fuel they have as an unlockable. But well, this thing is impressive. It's an impressive thing. It's untouchable for BF-109s. It's as simple as that. It's untouchable for them. So yeah, that's it for today's review and the analysis of the Tempest. Long overdue, long time asked, and well, here it is. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching, and see you later.